Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and today Apple released iOS 17.6 Beta 3. This is out to developers and soon to public beta testers, typically by the time you're watching this video or the following day. This came in at 440.5 megabytes as far as the overall size goes on my 15 Pro Max, and it was about the same size on other devices such as the iPad, where Apple released iPadOS 17.6 Beta 3, watchOS 10.6 Beta 3, tvOS and HomePodOS 17.6 Beta 3, macOS 14.6 Beta 3, and visionOS 1.3 Beta 3. Also a couple older macOS versions, but still no macOS 15 Beta 3. We're still waiting for that. Yesterday, Apple released iOS 18 Beta 3, so lots of updates in the past couple of days. Let's go ahead and take a look at the build number and talk about what's new. So we'll go to Settings, then General, then About. As you can see, the build number is 21G5066D. Beta 2 ended in the letter C, but the number has actually gone forward this time, with the letter going backward. That's pretty typical. We've seen this all over the place. That doesn't mean the next version won't be a release candidate before the final release. We'll talk about that more a little bit later. Now, Apple did announce a new feature today that goes along, or a new update today that goes along with Apple TV app in this update, and they've announced it on their Apple Newsroom website. It says Apple and Major League Baseball announce August Friday night baseball schedule. So you can read all about this here. I'll link it in the description. And if we go into the TV app, they've updated it with Friday night baseball. You can see this here where we can explore it all. And if we scroll down, you'll see all of the different schedules and even highlights here. So let me go ahead and turn this down. And if we go into the highlights, we can scrub through the different highlights at the bottom and just go back and forth between key plays. This is something they've updated, and they've updated some of the wording to make sure you know how to do that if you haven't seen it before. Apple also announced on their newsroom today that there'll be 3 new games, including Temple Run Legends, Vampire Survivors Plus, coming to Apple Arcade in August. So if we scroll down, you'll see new Vision Pro spatial game, Castle Crumble. So I'll be sure to check that out. I've actually played that on iPad, so it'll be great to try it out on Vision Pro, and you can see it here. So I'll try that out with Vision Pro, and again, these release in August typically. But it says throughout July, players can look forward to fun new updates. So all of those are available, Sonic Racing and more. I'll link these in the description as well. Now with Beta 2, they added some updates to Find My, and they continue to refine this in Beta 3. So one of the things has to do with repair mode. They haven't made any changes there, but if we go into Find My, you'll see this iPhone 15 Pro Max I put into repair mode. There's no way to take it out, but you still can continue to use it. And it looked like there would be some way to sort of deactivate this, but it doesn't appear to have any specific way to do that. So it's still ready for repair or trade-in. This eventually will time out, but it seems to take quite a long time. I wish there was a button to just say turn this off for now. Maybe put in your password and you're good to go. And with Beta 2, we had the option for directions, and then Apple actually added the option for Mark as Lost in Beta 2, where you could activate that. You can remove the device, and they've updated some wording. If maybe someone finds your Apple Pencil and tries to add it to their device, it won't be able to do that as it's tied to your Apple ID. So you would have to remove it here first. They've updated some of the wording for that and some of the ways that works. So that should now be active fully with 17.6 once it releases. As I mentioned before, that water, when it's detected in the charge port, it's been updated to tell you to disconnect your charge cable and let it dry for a couple of hours. That's something you'll see if you do get water in there. I'm not going to try that out though. Something else they've updated in Beta 3 has to do with photos. So if we go into photos and then we go into our deleted album, if we go into one of the photos and then we go to delete it, it now says that this will permanently delete the selected photo. This action can't be undone. Before this, it didn't say permanently. They've just changed some of the wording, and we're seeing more and more refinements in 17.6 like this. Lots of small wording changes throughout. Other things they've updated have to do with beats. I've mentioned in Beta 2 before. News, when you follow a sports team, there'll be an update there. Contactless payment, letting you know that you can change the default app with contact payment cards, and also a lot of new messages with wallet and more. Maybe if you've filed for bankruptcy, the app can tell you the card is locked due to this. Someone else messaged me today saying that their storage overall in About has actually increased by 3 gigabytes. Every single update, it seems to be fixing the storage. So if we go into it, you'll see the available storage here and the overall capacity. So I have a 1 terabyte option here for this iPhone, and I have 876.86 gigabytes available. That's something that they've updated, where it looks like it seems to clean out the storage or the cache storage every time you update with 17.6, and hopefully it's freeing that up, as I know some people were concerned about a storage bug, but it's mostly just cached files. I really wouldn't worry about it too much in iPhone storage. And if you have a lot of maybe files in use here with system data. This seems to fix most of that. As far as other things that have been fixed in this update, Bluetooth headphones should be improved. They've also fixed the overall alarms, it seems. However, they haven't said this publicly, but we do know there's an issue with the alarm not sounding. I've experienced this myself. My daughter has experienced it. My wife has, and I know quite a few of you have as well, where typically when you're using a sleep-wake alarm, it doesn't sound sometimes. It's very hit or miss. It seems to be fixed with this update with Beta 2. And the standby bug also seems to be fixed. So if I bring in a stand here, this is just an anchor stand, lock the phone, let it go into standby mode. There we go, press and hold. And once it unlocks with Face ID, I should be able to edit this. So let's try this again. We'll have it go back to sleep, press and hold. Now I can edit. So it did give me a little bit of a bug there. There we go. Now it's unlocked again and I can edit this. So I can change the colors and everything else. And again, this was an issue in earlier iOS 17.5.1 updates and others. So it looks like that's fixed here. There's no word on whether or not the screen time bug has been fixed yet, but if we go back here, go back to screen time, it seems like it works, but some people were having issues with it. iOS 18 Beta 3 also seems to fix issues with it, so maybe they're fixing them at the same time. Also, the wallpaper dimming bug seems to be repaired here. It doesn't seem to desaturate as much. I actually slid through here. You'll see it's blurred a little bit, but it doesn't seem to sort of desaturate like it did before. So definitely an improvement there. Whether or not this carries forward, we don't really know. Now, as far as overall performance, it feels pretty much the same as what I was using with Beta 2. I haven't noticed any difference with ProMotion, scrolling. Everything seems to be super fast and smooth, as it should be this late in a beta. So just scrolling through weather, seeing things load, whether that's music, going back to home here, scrolling, everything seems to be nice and fast as you would expect, as this is a later version of iOS 17. As far as overall heat, well, the phone is nice and cool for the most part, hasn't really heated up, and I've shown that in my weekend follow-up videos. When it comes to battery, I'll share my battery health, but battery life takes a few days to measure. We can talk about that in the weekend follow-up video. But if we go to battery health, you'll see here I have 39 cycles with 100% capacity. Now, if you're wondering if you should install iOS 17.6 Beta 3, if you're already on iOS 17.6, definitely you could do that. However, if you're on iOS 18 betas, unless you're having issues, you could downgrade to this version. This version seems to be very, very stable, but it doesn't bring a whole lot of features. But if you wanted to fix maybe that standby bug, give it a try. It seems to be pretty stable, but wait until the public beta comes out if you're not already on 17.6. Now, we are expecting iOS 17.5.2 to maybe fix some issues very soon. It looks like that's in the works. It's showing in different analytics. Mac Rumors has posted about it, so we're waiting for that release. We're also waiting for iOS 17.6 RC. I would expect that as soon as next week. Probably that will be the final one with a final release to the public, maybe in the second to last week of July, maybe early August, but probably the second to last week, maybe the 22nd or 23rd. As far as iOS 18 Beta 3 re-release and Public Beta 1, that could either be later this week or most likely next Monday. We don't really know 100%, but that's what I would expect. And then we'll move on to Public Beta 2, Beta 4 to developers, maybe the following week. That's typically what we see. As far as benchmarks, it actually scored pretty good at 2,917 for single core, 7,260 for multi-core. Compared to what we had before, it's jumped up a little bit. So you'll see here, this was the previous time. It jumped up just running it the first time. It's doing quite well. It's within its margin of error and seems to be performing as you would expect. Of course, that could increase a little bit after it's done processing in the background. So not a whole lot in iOS 17.6 at this point, but it should be a nice refinement update and bring some stability. Let me know if you found any additional features I haven't mentioned in the video. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And of course, I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.